Okay, Commissioner Sam Baydoun will do our invocation for today. And before he gets started, if everyone could manually put their phones on mute, that'd be very helpful. Everyone.
Wait, you mean the phone or you mean the Zoom?
I'm scared to touch anything.
Right. Are you talking about our cell phone or our Zoom?
If you would like, Chair, I can mute everyone.
Please.
All right. All have been muted.
Sam Baydoun, is he's not muted? Make sure he's not muted.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay. Good morning, Sam. We're waiting for you for invocation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Let us
Good morning.
pray. In the name of God, the beneficent, the merciful, O Lord, we come before you during these challenging times that have overtaken all of us. O Lord, purify and heal the world from this pandemic. O Lord, we beseech your divine grace to heal all the patients of this pandemic and to remove this burden from everyone. O Lord, we ask you to protect all of our heroes, medical doctors, nurses, healthcare workers, first responders, police, firefighters, cashiers, and all of those that have to work during this pandemic. O Lord, help the decision makers and us to be vigilant and unified against this pandemic and to make wise and sound decisions to ease the suffering of all families in Wayne County and throughout our great nation. O Lord, the strain and stress of the current situation is wearing us down, and you have the power to remove what has afflicted us. O Lord, bestow upon us your benevolence and mercy, and guide us with wisdom and patience to overcome our fears and despair. In your holy name we say, amen.
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 Amen. Amen. Thank you, Sam, so much for that very uplifting prayer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Reading, correcting, and approval of the journal.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware.
I think we're all still on mute.
You can unmute everybody, Francesca.
You some catch right away.
Move
And if that's not enough, we'll jump on to other.
Move approval.
Support.
It's been moved and supported.
All right, well, that's a good first try. We'll come back to that.
Okay,
maybe a
who's
little
talking?
later on as we start to do some of the go-to material.
Francesca.
Hopefully that will.
You can mute everybody except Commissioner.
Is this? I can email it, or I can.
Somebody got a car going on in the back.
All have been muted.
Unmute commissioners for me, Francesca.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
Looks like we are unmuted.
Okay. We're all set, Francesca?
I have unmuted the two commissioners that have called in by phone. And then
unmute Irma.
Yeah, unmute me.
You're all unmuted.
Commissioner Coleman has been unmuted.
Okay. Okay. So we have all the commissioners are unmuted.
Going through the list. It looks like All commissioners have been unmuted.
Okay, thank you. We're on item number 2, reading correction and approval of the journal was moved by Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware. It was seconded by Vice Chair Palomero. All in favor, do a voice vote of aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Ayes have it. Next item, please.
Report from the chair.
My report is just that we continue to keep everyone lifted up in prayer as we go through these trying times. You all stay safe. Please continue to get the message out in your various areas to our residents to stay in and stay safe, and we will get through this. That's all I have right now. Next item.
Unfinished business, there is none listed. We are moving to offering of all petitions, ordinances, resolutions, and presentations. There are none listed. We are moving to page 2 of the agenda, upcoming committee and task force meetings.
Okay.
None listed.
Okay.
We go to public comments.
Sure.
Next item, public comments.
Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the Wayne County Commission? You have 2 minutes. Is anyone from the public who would like to address the Wayne County Commission?
You want to have a clear overall idea of
who is that?
Where you are, where you're taking your company. And
anyone from the public who would like to address the Wayne County Commission?
Typically, you're probably...
Okay, hearing none, mute everybody except commissioners again. We don't know who that is on the phone, unfortunately.
All right.
And we'll go to next item, Pam.
We're moving to new business.
Okay, the way we've structured this, because we're taking all of the items that would have normally gone to committee, they're grouped together by committee. However, so we'll go through each item as we would normally do, ask if there are any questions to the department, and after we're done with each subsection, we'll take a motion for all the items in that section. So first is public services. Madam Clerk.
First items are public services items. There are 12 items listed on pages 2 through 5 of the agenda.
Item number 1.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Half of them.
Oh, okay, wait, I gotta see how I can see it all. I'm sorry.
I can see it.
Approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and the City of Harper Woods not to exceed $105,000 for improvements to Johnson Park and Salter Park.
Are there any questions on this item?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I have my hand raised, so I don't know if anybody can see that.
Oh, I didn't have that up. Yep, okay. Yep, go ahead.
I don't have a question on this particular item, but I'm wondering if someone from DPS can just give us a brief, like a very brief explanation on what's the status of DPS now, because we're going to be approving some contracts today for road work, that type thing. I'm just wondering if things will move at some kind of pace with this. I know the parks are part of the municipalities and township under their jurisdiction, but sorry about that. But anyway, I didn't know if DPS could kind of give us a timeline on what they think's going to happen. I mean, we don't know when we're going to get out of this. But, just a general overview.
Is Alicia on the line?
Yes, I am, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, good morning, thank you. I'm not sure if Michelle Yancey is on. Just in regards to DPS, and I know Director Watts, I'm not sure if she's on. We are still, as you all are, working remotely. Michelle Yancey is facilitating the contracts as she can through the processes, as well as our IGAs. I am going into the office to forward responsive IGAs back to the communities. So any of those contracts are moving forward. Michelle is handling, I believe she is going into the office probably once or twice a week in order to do that.
Hi, Commissioner. Michelle Yancey on the phone. I am processing the contracts as they come through. There is no stoppage in DPS from any of the work that we've been doing. I do go into the office, and from last week, from those resolutions that was approved, those have been processed, and then we go into purchasing for POs to be cut to our vendors so they can start the work on design projects for our roads or construction. Our IGAs for parks are still being processed, and they are being sent to Alicia for submittal to the municipalities for their reimbursements. So there's no stoppage with what we're doing.
Okay, great. And you're talking about road work as well, besides the park work?
Yes, road work is still being done. Design projects are still being processed. POs are still being cut to those vendors. So we're still on track.
Okay, so do you think if this does last longer than we think it's gonna last, will road work start at some point, even though everybody is pretty much in?
I believe so. It might just be a delay in when we can all come out the house and work like we normally would, but the part of us processing the contracts is still on
track.
Going through on track.
Okay,
yeah.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is Deputy Director Rivers from Roads.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Just to follow up on that question, as Ms. Yancey said, Roads is working a minimal crews as we speak, and the road work is continuing as much as possible under the circumstances.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for the update.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Anderson?
Yes, to that point, I just wanted to follow up. Are patching crews still out?
There's minimal crews out, so that if there's an emergency, which occurred just the other day, and we went out and made the repairs. Yes.
Okay, just emergency work, not normal
No, we have minimal crews out in every yard doing day-to-day road work.
All right, thank you.
Any additional questions on item 1? Item 2?
Item number 2 is requesting approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and the Township of Sumter not to exceed $11,184 for improvements to Bannocktie Park and Graham Park.
Any questions on item number 2? Any questions? Hearing none. Next item.
Item number 3 is requesting commission approval of a sole source on-demand contract between the Charter County of Wayne and Lakeshore Sign and Safety Equipment LLC not to exceed $2,673,058 for attenuators cartridges manufactured by Lindsay Transportation.
Madam Chair?
Yes. Commissioner Basham.
Yeah, even though it's a sole source, this is a OEM contract, so I'm in support of it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion on item number 3? Hearing none. Item number 4.
Item number 4 is requesting commission approval of amendment number 2 to a contract between the Charter County of Wayne and Ajax Paving Industries in the amount of $381,847.77 to continue road improvement work on West Adams Drive from 7 Mile Road to Livernois Avenue in Detroit.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Yes, I'd like to be the maker of the motion for item number 4.
Okay, duly noted to the clerk that you'll be the maker of the motion for item 4.
Duly noted.
Any other questions on item 4? Next item.
Item number 5 is requesting commission approval of a 4-year professional services contract between the Charter County of Wayne and Cummings Inc. not to exceed $600,000 for OEM Cummings parts and repairs.
Any questions on 5? Any Any questions on 5? Don't see any hands raised. Okay. Next item.
Item number 6 is requesting commission approval of a contract between the Charter County of Wayne and Florence Cement Company not to exceed $465,735.72 for road improvements at the intersection of 7 Mile Road and Inkster Road.
Okay. Any questions on that item? Any questions? Next item.
Item number 7 is requesting commission approval of an intergovernmental agreement with Redford Township not to exceed $25,779 to fund improvements to Claude Allison Park and Phoenix Park.
Okay, park improvements. Any question on item 7? Okay, next please.
Item number 8 is requesting commission approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Woodhaven not to exceed $15,721 for improvements to Constitution Park.
Any questions on item 8?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Basham?
I'd like to be the maker of that motion.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
Duly noted.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Next item.
Item number 9 is requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for road improvement work on 7 Mile.
Okay, this is City of Livonia, road improvement work. All right, any questions on item 9? Okay, next please.
Item number 10 is requesting commission approval of a 3-year contract with a 1-year option to renew with Spalding DeDecker not to exceed $181,647.69 for professional engineering services to prepare construction bid documents for the concrete reconstruction of Miller Road.
Thank you. Any questions on item 10 for Miller Road?
I would like to be the maker of that motion, if you don't mind.
Duly noted.
Thank you. Okay, next item.
Item number 11 is requesting commission approval of a sub-grant agreement with the Alliance of Rouge Communities not to exceed $731,000 for the project titled Rouge River Areas of Concern, Wayne County Parks Habitat Restoration Project.
Okay, this one, is there someone that can speak to this? Someone DPS, what exactly is this entire project?
Yes, this is Noel Mullet, Environmental Services Division, Wayne County Department of Public Services. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. This project kind of builds upon the existing habitat projects of the Fishway and the Oxbow and the Lake and Lake restoration. The county's been involved in the Rouge River restoration for many years through the Alliance of Rouge Communities and the Rouge River Advisory Council. There's been a list of critical habitat projects identified that, if implemented, would significantly improve the Rouge's chances of being removed from the areas of concern within the Great Lakes. Be listed from those that list of areas of concern. So this is a design grant that would develop the designs for the Riverview Park wetland restoration, the Sherwood Park area wetland restoration, restoration of wetlands in Bell Creek Park, also Lola Valley Park, and then improve fish habitat and riparian corridor habitat through all the Wayne County Parks, Lower Rouge area.
And what's the estimated completion for this?
We're working on the design, or the intent is to get the design complete this year. EPA has indicated these are GLRI funds, so they kind of have tight funding windows. So they're actually interested in us in applying for the implementation dollars as early as June. So I guess the intent, the entire project, including implementation, would probably be completed in probably 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Any questions additional on item 11?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner
I
Dodd.
have a question. And sorry if this is probably in the packet somewhere, but there's so many pages. Are we using any county funds for this project?
No, this is 100% GLRI federal dollars.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any additional questions on item 11? Okay, hearing none. Next item.
Item number 12 is reporting to receive and file from the Department of Public Services the January 2020 report of all complaint calls made to 1888 road crew.
Okay, and we have this in our packet so you can see by district how many complaint calls were made. Are there any questions on item 12? Okay, hearing none, as the chair of the committee is Commissioner Marecki. Commissioner Marecki, would you please make a motion to approve items 1 through 12?
Yes, I move to approve items 1 through 12 in the CAPS committee.
It's been moved and supported to approve items 1 through 12 for public service items.
Who supported the motion?
Madam the Chair.
Who supported? Was that Commissioner Haydos?
Yes, Madam Chair, I like to be the motion maker for item 2 in Sumter.
Okay, duly noted.
Duly noted.
And the motion was to approve items 1 through 11 and the receive and file number 12.
Right.
Okay. Any further discussion on those items? Okay, we need to take a roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Basham?
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen?
Yes.
Commissioner Kniezek?
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick?
Yes.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Barga?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware?
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera? Vice Chair Palomera?
Is he still on?
He's in Washington.
Vice Chair Palomera?
I must have been on mute. I apologize. Yes.
Okay.
Chair Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
And we will be doing this roll call vote for each grouping of committee items. So we'll be doing this about 4 more times. So next item.
The next items are from the Committee on Health and Human Services. Item number 13. Item number 13 is requesting commission approval of the reappointment of Kevin McNamara to the Detroit-Wayne Integrated Health Network Board.
Any questions on item 13?
Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Killeen?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. These 2 items, 13 and 14, I believe it's 13 and 14.
Yes.
Just to remind the board that there's 12 appointments to the Detroit-Wayne Integrated Health Network to the board. The mayor of Detroit gets 6, the county executive gets 6. Every year, since we stagger the terms, 2 of the mayor's appointments come up and 2 of the county exec's appointments come up. On the first item on 13, the county executive is re-upping Kevin McNamara to the board. The other person declined to be re-upped, so we will wait to get another appointment from the county executive. And on item 14, I believe the mayor
is reappointing Ms. Burrell and Mr. Parker to the board. And I would move both of those for approval, Madam Chair.
Support.
There's support.
Support.
Who was that?
Anderson.
Okay, supported by Commissioner Anderson. Any discussion on 13 and 14? Okay. Hearing none. Let's vote. Roll call. Clerk Pam Lane.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham, Commissioner Basham,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark-Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Commissioner Haddis,
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen,
Yes.
Commissioner Kniezek,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Yes.
Commissioner Scott,
Yes.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware,
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera,
Yes.
Chair Bell, Chair Bell,
Yes.
motion carried.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next items are public safety. Commissioner Clark-Coleman.
I move approval of item 15 and 16.
Support.
Moved and supported by Commissioner Baydoun, was it?
No, that was Haddis.
Commissioner Haddis, okay. Commissioner Haddis.
Thank you.
Any
Yes.
discussion on 15 and 16? Any discussion on 15 and 16?
If I could,
Commissioner Anderson.
Madam Chair, I believe item 1 is the secondary road patrol. And I just wondered if there's someone there from the Sheriff's Department that can tell us, does that represent the remainder of the road patrol grant from the state?
There's someone from the Sheriff's Department. Anyone from the Sheriff's Department? Francesca, take everyone off of mute in case someone from the Sheriff's Department is trying to speak.
All have been unmuted.
Okay, from the Sheriff's Department?
Is Samaya here?
Samaya? Okay. Commissioner Anderson, it appears there's no one here from the Sheriff's Office.
Maybe we can follow up and get an answer.
Hi, this is Andrew.
Yes.
I'll try to get a hold of
Let's
Samaya and about the question from Commissioner Anderson.
Repeat that, Andy.
I'll follow up with Samaya Harb and get the question from answered for Commissioner Anderson. All the commissioners.
Thank you.
Andy, I just wanted to, see if that represents the remainder of the road patrol dollars, or maybe.
Right. Yeah, I think I got the question right. I can follow up with you after the meeting.
Thank you.
All right.
Any additional questions for items 15 and 16? Okay, hearing none. Let's vote. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Anderson. Commissioner Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Basham.
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark-Coleman.
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb.
Yes.
Commissioner Haddis.
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen.
Yes.
Commissioner Kniezek.
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki.
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Yes.
Commissioner Scott.
Yes.
Commissioner Varga.
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware.
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera.
Yes.
Chair Bell.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next items, item 17. This is the grouping from government operations. Commissioner Scott, would you like to move those items?
Yes, Martha G. Scott, I'd like to move approval of items number 17 through number 24.
Okay, is there support?
Support.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Scott, supported by Commissioner Haydos, and that was 17 to 24. The first one is to receive and file, so the first one will be moved to receive and file, and then the other ones, number 18. Any questions?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I have a question about 23.
Okay, when we get to 23, we'll call on you, Commissioner Basham.
Thank you.
Any questions on number 18?
Yes.
Did I hear Commissioner Anderson?
Yes, I just wondered if there's someone from the executive's office that can just give us an update on this. Is this a net increase on the square footage rental rate, lease rate, or is it basically status quo? I noticed it's about
if I may,
$85.18 a square foot.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Joe. This is basically the square footage stays the same. The overall rate, this is for the Fort Monroe lease, stays the same. The problem is that two of the account numbers have been transposed, and there also had been one account number that had not been put in specifically, but the overall number is still the same. The square footage is still the same. This is just basically correcting the resolution.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Number 19. This is approval of the service contract between Carter County Wayne and Dawn, not to exceed. Any questions on 819? Question? Question on number 20. Approval of a grant.
Yeah.
Item 21. Item 21. Can someone speak to item 21? This is the state grant for $4 million for our indigent defense. This is through this year, September 20th. So I suspect we'll have another grant for October 1, 2020 to September 30, 2021.
Good morning, Chairwoman Bell. It's very nice to see you all doing well. This is Drew Vandigrift. I work in Corporation Counsel. You're exactly right. Efforts are underway right now to develop the fiscal 21 compliance plan because of the circumstance that we find ourselves in. The date for submission has been moved back for all units within the state of Michigan to the end of May. So you know, we can keep you updated as we progress and submit our plan.
Thank you. Any additional questions on item 21? Item 22. Contract with Clark Hill.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, Anderson?
I just wanted to clarify, as this continues to be the only lobby firm at the federal level, correct?
Can you answer that?
This is Andrew Kandrivas. Yes, this is the only federal event.
And Francesca and Pam. Okay, there we go. Okay. Oh, I don't know why the screen is blurry.
Oh yes, thank you.
Okay. Any questions on 22, number 23? Any questions on 23?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Basham?
Thank you. Even though there's no change in the dollar amount, it extends the contract. It's retroactive, and I'm wondering why it's retroactive.
Does anyone like to speak to item 23?
I can speak on it, Madam Chair. This is Dwayne Sills, Deputy Wayne County Clerk. That is retroactive because it took a while for it to go through the purchasing system. We actually started this contract a few months back, but because things wasn't quite right in the purchase system, they sent it back to us. That's the reason for the actual retro.
Well, actually, the contract, if I may, Madam Chair, was actually started in February of 2017. And it seems like, for whatever reason, somebody dropped the ball on this. And it's like, I've tried to, I guess, lean on the idea that we need to have less retroactive contracts regardless. And so why specifically is it retroactive?
Dwayne, if you can further expound, or maybe Felicia can speak
Sure,
more to that.
I can help out. It's through the Commissioner Basham, through the chair. This contract was actually implemented to 2017. However, we're
Correct.
asking just for an amendment, not amendment, but actually an addition to it that lasts for another year so we can spend all the money. So it was actually sent through in 2017. Just actually
I guess
the modification one. I'm sorry, it's just a modification to that. So it was done in 2017 on time. We're just asking for a one-year modification for us to continue to spend the remaining amount of the contract money.
I guess what I'm trying to say is this retroactive contract, this modification is retroactive. I know the contract started in 2017 and they want to extend it to 2022. And I know there is no additional money requested, but still the request for the modification is retroactive. I'm not talking about the original contract. I'm talking about the modification to the contract is retroactive.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. And that was because, again, it took a while to actually go through the system to get it done. We sent it through, they sent it back, we sent it back through again, they sent it back. So it took a little while for that process. I think the commissioner staff is aware of it. We have talked with them before on this matter.
I just think that somebody dropped the ball on this modification. It's retroactive, and that was my point. It seems like I'm not getting definitive answers. I'm getting it just takes a little time, and that's for me personally, it's unacceptable.
All right. Any other questions on item number 23? Item 24. Item 24. Okay. Hearing no discussion, the motion was for the items under government operations. It's been moved and supported. Hearing no other discussion on those items, roll call vote.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Basham?
Yes, but no on 23.
Duly noted.
Thank you.
Commissioner Baydoun? Commissioner Baydoun?
Sorry about that. Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb?
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen?
Yes.
Commissioner Knizik?
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick?
Yes.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Barga?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware?
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomero?
Yes.
Chair Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners. We're on to the next item, Madam Clerk.
We are moving to the first addenda for item number 25, requesting commission approval of a statement of understanding between the Charter County of Wayne and the Third Circuit Court of Michigan regarding the county's Michigan Indigent Defense Commission revised compliance plan.
Okay.
Move approval.
Been moved by Commissioner Anderson. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Commissioner Scott.
Varga.
Okay. Commissioner Varga. Is there discussion? Who can speak to this from the administration?
Good morning, all. This is Mary Ann Talon. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mary Ann. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Can you explain this item, please?
Yes, this is a statement of understanding entered into between the county and the Third Circuit with respect to a couple of different things. The first is how we are going to transition the appointment of experts and investigators to the county ahead of Standard 5. So let me just briefly explain that. Standard 3 under the MIDC is the standard that tells defense counsel how important it is for them to hire experts and investigators. And the process used to be that to get an expert or an investigator, the defense attorney had to make a motion before their trial judge, have the motion granted, and then go hire somebody. To make that process easier for everybody and to enable the attorneys to hire more investigators and more experts, we used grant funds to hire 2 attorney administrators, Angela Peterson and Neil Lighthouser. They are housed in the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice, but they also operate online, so they're available essentially 24/7 to the defense bar. They've got a list of experts and investigators. They meet with defense counsel about their particular case to decide which investigator or which expert will be appointed. We agreed on forms and paperwork to get that person appointed. They then file, after they're done with the case, they file their invoices, and it goes through the M&B and then the Third Circuit payment process. The Third Circuit still pays them as part of the process, but the judges are no longer involved in appointing investigators and experts. That's all done administratively. And it's sort of setting up how we're going to go about doing it for attorneys when we get to Standard 5. Standard 5 is sitting in the Department of Licensing and Regulation right now. It has not yet come out of the department. Once it does, the county will have 6 months to come up with a plan to transition appointment of all of those defense counsel. There's like 300 or 400 defense lawyers on the Third Circuit's list right now. And so we've got some time before we figure out how all that's going to happen. But this is sort of a mini step, this pilot project. If this goes well, that will help us figure out what do we need to make the big transition, and that is appointment of all those lawyers, taking that from the Third Circuit and moving that into the county. So this SOU sets up this pilot project, this mini step. It does it under Standard 3 instead of Standard 5, because Standard 3 deals with experts and investigators. And this SOU also recognizes that the MIDC Act got amended to say all that money that you've been putting over in the Third Circuit to operate this indigent defense system, it all has to be in a segregated fund. So we had to take all the different funds that we had over the Third Circuit for experts and investigators and for attorney fees being paid in, and we had to move them all in accordance with the Act into a segregated MIDC fund. Well, that left a hole in the Third Circuit's budget because, if you recall correctly, under our big agreement with the Third Circuit,
Marianne?
Hello?
Okay. Did I disappear there for a second?
You did.
It keeps telling me I'm muted and unmuted. I don't know why.
Okay.
Did you hear
Go
what
ahead.
I just said?
No, repeat the last sentence.
Yes.
So I was talking about how it left a hole in the Third Circuit's budget, and they had to move all those funds into the MIDC segregated fund. And so this agreement in part says, okay, well, we'll replace that third-party revenue so that you won't suffer as a result of complying with the statute. And they are continuing to do all of the work on the back end that they've been doing, and under this SOU says they'll continue to do. So I think in a nutshell, that explains what this SOU is. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Marianne. And as many of you know, Marianne Talon is our expert on this directive that we've received from the state of Michigan on how to conduct our indigent defense. So she's been working very diligently with the state and making sure that the county is complying with the state directives. If there are any questions for Marianne at this time, we'll entertain them. Any questions for Marianne Talon at this time about the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission? Okay, if you think of any questions, Marianne Talon will be available to answer or get more in depth with you. Did I hear a question coming through? Okay. Okay, if not, we have a motion and a second. Last time for questions. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Basham?
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark-Coleman?
Yes.
Commissioner Daub?
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleen?
Yes.
Commissioner Kniezek?
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick?
Yes.
Commissioner Scott?
Yes.
Commissioner Varga? Commissioner Varga?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware?
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomero? Vice Chair Palomero?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, yes, yes.
Chair Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item.
We are moving to the second addenda item, requesting commission approval of an agreement between the Charter County of Wayne and Wayne County CDE in partnership with TCF Bank in the amount of $6 million. I'm sorry.
That should be $2 million.
Yes,
$2
I
million.
hesitated. I thought it was 2. We will make that correction. $2 million to create a loan fund for microloans to certain small businesses to be used for essential business purposes.
So
Okay.
Madam the Chair, I'd like to move the item.
Okay. We have a
Madam
motion
Chair.
by Commissioner Haydos.
Well, I have a question.
I have a question too.
Okay, let's move it and then we'll have discussion.
Support, Madam Chair.
Okay, it's moved and supported. Let's go list. Commissioner Haydos, then Commissioner Varga, then Commissioner Basham.
Basham.
I should be on the list too.
Starts with the B.
Thank you, Madam the Chair. I really appreciate the hard work on this issue from you and the task force committee and the staff. Felicia and Pam and Kalira Hall and their staff worked very hard because of the technicality of taking public money from government to donate to the public sector. That it's very difficult and it's not allowable. That's why they worked so hard yesterday to find the mechanism to be able to do it and do it legally. There's some debate and concern about it, but in the end, they came with the recommendation to put it in a different way to go through CDE and make the agreement between the CDE and the TCF Bank to assist the small business people in Wayne County. Loan did not cover the whole county. It covered around 60%. But with this one, we cover the rest of the county, and probably it's a move in the right direction in such a difficult time where the small business people, it's almost the heartbeat of this county. I observed a couple items last few days where I see the small business places open for vital services in the communities. So I hope things get better, but at least it's a move in the right direction from us to show our county small business people we there to assist and help in every way we can. And I appreciate your hard work, Madam the Chair, on it yesterday and day before. We've been working on it for a few days, and I hope this item will go.
No, you don't. It should be.
Let's say she's on channel 4.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I muted myself. I have a long list, and I have the list, but let me do this before we ask any questions. Let me have Khalil. Are you on the phone, Khalil?
Yes, ma'am.
If Khalil could describe what this is, and then that may answer people's questions. So Khalil, if you could go ahead now, please.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair and all the commissioners. About a week ago, the county executive announced an up to $10 million loan fund program for small businesses. The money for the $10 million, really, it's the Wayne County CDE, which is a component unit of the county, a private nonprofit, which has about a little bit over $3 million in its accounts, is putting up $3 million, and that is being matched with our partner, TCF Bank, who is also putting up $3 million to have that money be loaned to small businesses in the county who are in desperate time of need, and particularly because of the coronavirus, at really good interest rates. And the idea is we want to give small businesses a quick lifeline in this desperate time of need. It's gotten a lot of rave reviews. I will tell you that in about a week or maybe less than a week's time, we have gotten 383 inquiries through the phone. 200 of those 383 have been deemed eligible for the program. 51 of the 200 eligible have actually submitted completed applications, and 41 of the 51 have been approved for the program. That totaled about $650,000 in a week. And I'm happy to say that as of right now, 3 of those approved loans have been fully approved, fully funded. So there are businesses right now in Wayne County who have an extra lifeline that didn't have it before our program. The source of the funds that we have is from the Wayne County CDE, which administers new market tax credits in low-income areas. And because of that, we can only use these funds in low-income areas, which makes up about 64% of the county. As we came to the commission about a week ago and wanted to promote this program, wanted to get it in the hands of commissioners so that they can talk about it in their districts, many commissioners expressed, a desire to see that program go countywide. And so I think the chairwoman established a task force chaired by Commissioner Varga and Commissioner Jesus, and we've had 2 meetings as a part of that task force, one on Monday and one yesterday. And through those discussions, the discussion came out of, well, what is the best way and how can we make this, go countywide? And really, because the source of our funds had to be used in low-income areas, we had to find a source of the funds that could be used all throughout the county. And the general fund is a source of funds that could be used all throughout the county. And so in discussing, sort of a range, obviously we're using, $6 million, for the low income areas, and it could get as high as $10 million, depending on how the program evolves. We thought for the rest of the third of the county, $2 million from the general fund, which would be matched by $2 million for TCF Bank, for a total of $4 additional million would be, some relief. Not enough. There isn't enough money in the world to help every small business, unfortunately, but at least some relief for businesses in Wayne County. In discussions with staff, with Felicia and Mark and Regina and Mary and everybody else, our folks on our side, Drew and Cheryl and Wafat, we've been up all hours of the night. I got off the phone at 11:30 last night with Mark Abel and got back on the phone with them at 8 o'clock this morning, working this out. We believe that there is a few different ways to accomplish the overall goal. And because this was, sort of an ask of the county commission, we wanted to see what we can do about making the commission do a direct contract with TCF Bank to administer the program. We believe, after some legal review, that is legally defensible. There is a question, right, of whether or not the county can lend its credit to small businesses. And I think that there's some fear around that, and I think that fear is warranted. Because Article 9 of our charter does say you cannot lend the county's full faith and credit on loans. However, there is a legally defensible position where we can say that we are getting just compensation for what we're doing. Right now, the Fed's interest rates are at 0%. Our loan program is between 0 and 2%. So we're going to performing better than the Fed interest rate. And so because we are, if you want to take this route, because we are receiving just compensation for, for that act, you can argue that this is not putting the county's only full faith and credit there. That being said, staffs got together and we said, how can we make this legally safer for the county? And everybody that we spoke to agrees that there is a better route, maybe a safer route for the county to be able to form the goal, to send $2 million to the CDE for services rendered, economic development services rendered, to keep our small businesses in Wayne County healthy. And then the Wayne County CDE would just amend our existing contract with TCF to have the additional funds go county-wide. You still need consideration, and I think we've gotten that part taken care of. I think what will happen is the county will send $2 million from the general fund to the CDE. The CDE will amend our existing contract with TCF Bank to put in an additional $4 million into our program to go countywide. TCF Bank will continue to administer the program. They'll continue to monitor the program, judge the loans in the same manner as they were doing before. If there are defaults, and we anticipate having some defaults, hopefully not that many, those defaults will basically be the consideration of costs that the CDE will charge the general fund. And whatever is collected under the program, that money will be collected by TCF Bank, sent back to the CDE. The CDE will then take that money, send that back to the general fund. And that's the basic structure of the agreements that we have. So we have one agreement that's before the county commission right now. And that is the $2 million contract with the CDE for services rendered. There is a attachment to that contract, and that is the contract that the CDE has, the amendments with TCF Bank. So you have some materials in front of you. We think this is more legally defensible because our staff found the case right on point that we think mirrored to something that the state of Michigan did. The state of Michigan wanted to provide a loan relief fund for economic development purposes. They sent money from the state to an authority, and the authority administered loans. That was challenged in court, and it made its way all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court found that what the state did was proper, and it was eligible, and it was constitutional. We have provided that case to your staff, and everybody had a chance to get on the phone yesterday to discuss the details and how we're mirroring those circumstances. So I just want to reiterate, we do think that this is legally defensible. We think it's more legally defensible with the way that we've come up to do it with staff. And we think the CDE is the perfect component unit to do this. There are other component units, like the EDC, the Brownfield Authority, or others. But the CDE is unique in that it is a private, nonprofit entity. And it is the furthest of all the component units that we have removed from the county, which makes it more legally defensible the more we dig into this. So to summarize, I think we can do this legally according to many of the attorneys that we have on phone and discussing with staff. Not only is it legally defensible, but we think we found, a sort of a more and more safeguards to try to administer the overall goal.
Okay, thank you, Khalil. Quick question before we, just for clarification, before we go further. Our squib says $6 million. What came out of committee was $2 million with the match to 4. So should our squib say 4 or 2?
You said your script.
Madam Chair, may I?
Yes.
This is Felicia. So it is a $4 million program that's being approved, but the county's contribution is $2 million. And there will ultimately be another $2 million contribution from TCF, but you're only approving $2 million contribution by the county, but it's a $4 million overall program that's being approved.
Okay, that's one clarification. So $2 million is what should be here, not 6. Okay, thank you.
To that point, for
Commissioner
clarification,
Hayes?
Madam the Chair.
Yes.
As Khalil should mention, is those $2 million from the county plus $2 million from the TCF. It's non-restricted fund, different than the first $3 million plus $3 million from the bank. So those would cover the rest of West Wayne County, the one it's not covered by the first $6 million. That should be clear. Because we want to make sure we cover the county at large.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner.
So my question has to do...
Commissioner Clark-Coleman?
Yeah, my question has to do with whether it covers the county at large.
It does.
Does it cover all 43 cities in the county?
Yes, yes.
And my next question is, how do they select the companies that they're going to support?
It's an excellent question. What happens is we market and promote the program as much as we can, and we ask people to visit the website. And if they visit the website, there'll be contact information. There are 13 branches TCF Bank has in Wayne County, and they can contact one of the branches. They can get a hold of a business, a manager, a loan manager, and ask all their questions so that they can see if they qualify for the program. This is not us or the bank selecting individual small businesses. The business has to reach out to the bank if they are in need. And if they are and they're eligible, we will do the best that we can to process the loan.
So are there mechanisms in place to make sure that like one city doesn't get everything?
So the original loan, the original $3 million could only be used in low income census tracts.
Well, we got a lot of right.
And they had a huge need. You're absolutely right. The additional $2 million, match $2 million with TCF Bank, that can go countywide, including those low-income census tracts. Does that make sense?
Not quite.
So a business it's up to the business to reach out to TCF to go and apply for the loan. What we're doing is providing the funds to help them get the loan. but it's up to the business to reach out to apply if they feel they are in need of these loan programs.
Right.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Yes. I'm sorry, hold on 1 second. Commissioner.
Okay, I don't know how to do this, but just put me on the list, please. Martha Scott.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Commissioner Clark Coleman, did that answer your question?
So I guess what I'm getting at is if there are some businesses in my community that really needs help,
yes,
then it should be up to me to notify them and let them know that they should go and apply for these loans.
Yes.
That would be helpful, please. We are doing the best that we can to market to everybody. We have repurposed people internally, business development managers that to cover certain areas of the county. And their job is to reach out to Chamber of Commerce's, business communities, DDAs, and we're trying to promote the program as much as possible. But yeah, if you know a small business, please put this on their radar.
Okay. You all set, Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Thank you. I have a long list. Commissioner Varga. Commissioner Varga?
That's what they're fighting about.
Okay, I'll come back.
She's on mute.
I have to unmute myself.
Okay.
I very much support this going countywide, and I understand the program, and I just want to thank everyone who worked on this. And in the interest of time, I will yield to the rest of the commissioners who did not serve on the task force.
Thank you. Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the intent of this, but we as a county have had good intent in previous programs to try to help the folks that need it. And if I heard Khalil properly say that there was people already applying for it, the administration needs to know that it certainly bothers me personally when you get in front of a vote by the commissioners and lay a program out, right, which technically the commission could actually, in ideology, we actually support it, but the devil's always in the details, and the details are in the numbers. And the numbers, like this morning, it was on our agenda for 6 million, and then Pam said 2 million, and then we started talking about 3 million plus 4 million. Right. And I mean, it's only a few million here and a few million there, but you add it up and it's real money. And that's one problem I have. The other problem is, they
let it out before it was voted on.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. And so the other thing, the numbers need to be more specific. And we as a commission have a responsibility as a legislative body to vet this also, not just the administration and then the commissioner going along with it, because again, nothing personally about the administration. I appreciate their good efforts, but we are an integral part of this process. And when you get an agenda item that actually it's an addenda and actually comes up on our addenda as 6 million. And so, I mean, I still have, and I listened to the comments about people have already went to the bank and applied for this and they're eligible. And it's like, I think it deserves all the sunshine we can put on it. And that's, I guess, the nicest way I can say it. So based on the numbers and everything, I don't want to just, roll along with the project. So I still have more questions. So I know it might not be real popular, but I'm going to abstain on this item. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me be crystal clear. Listen, everyone, very closely to me. Last week, we approved an item on our agenda for $3 million for the CDE. The CDE is a nonprofit organization that is not county monies. Those monies were put into the TCF. TCF matched those monies by $6 million. That was last week. We had that before us. That program is up and running. The commission thought it was very important that we initiate our own program to help the rest of the county, because the CDE program from last week was just for low-income census tracts. Al Hayes thought that we should do something as the commission to initiate something more to include the entire county. Staff worked very, very hard for the last 5 days to put this together. This is a new program put forth by the Wayne County Commission for $2 million. That's going to be matched by TCF for a total of $4 million, which is different from last week's conversation. There is no money that's been allocated for this Wayne County Commission program because it is before us today to vote on. So what was done last week is up and running. This is a very new program that we, the Wayne County Commission, initiated to help with the entirety of Wayne County.
Just a correction, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
That it was Commissioner Hayes and myself.
Yes, absolutely. Commissioner Hayes and Commissioner Anderson initiated this Wayne County Commission program that's before us today. Nothing has gone forward because we are voting on it today. Yeah. Does that clarify?
Very well clarified, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So it'll be very clear. This is something that we can put our hats out and say that we did as a commission if we vote on this today. Please disregard that $6 million number. That is incorrect. I'm trying to get Pam to change that so that we can have all the clarity and transparency. That number should say $2 million.
Here you go, baby.
With a match of TCF for another $2 million for a total of $4 million for the entire county of Wayne. Commissioner Anderson, you're next.
I just wanted to hear from our legal staff. Because the memo that I received on it still indicated a concern about the legality of it. That's all.
Felicia? Speak louder, Felicia, please.
I'm sorry. As indicated, there are some legal questions and uncertainties with regards to the use of general fund program based on constitutional provision.
I'm sorry, Felicia, hold on, please. Hold on, Felicia. Francesca, please mute everyone. Except
Don't
Felicia.
mute me. Don't mute Martha Scott.
I trust Commissioner Scott is in a very quiet place and not doing this background
That's
noise.
right. I am.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Felicia. Start again.
Okay, hopefully this is better. So
Yes.
as Khalil has already indicated, general fund dollars for this particular program based on a constitutional provision and some court cases. So there is legal uncertainty. We have worked diligently with the administration, Corp Counsel, to try to come up with a program that we think can best be legally defended if there ever is a need to defend such a program. So that's why the program morphed from the original agreement between the county contracting directly with TCF to now the county going through the CDE. Again, no one, I don't think, can tell you with certainty if this is challenged, what the outcome would be. But the goal was to present this body with a program that we thought the best could be defended. Now, are there other options that potentially could be looked at? There are, but we were under very tight time restraints. I believe this agreement does offer more protections than the original version. But again, there's still legal uncertainties just because of the source of the funds.
Does that answer your question, Commissioner Anderson? Francesca, unmute commissioners.
Yes.
You're all set, Commissioner Anderson?
Yes, thank you.
Commissioner Marecki.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just a couple of things. I'd like to go back to Khalil because my recollection of the CDE monies, the $3 million that CDE put in and the $3 million from TCF, the commission has no control over those monies. So I don't recall voting on that program. So I'd just like to hear from Khalil. My second question to Khalil And again, the reason we didn't vote on those monies is because we have no control over CDE monies. And my second question for Khalil is, are you saying now that all the monies, the 6, potentially 10 million, those will be used for the low income areas, and then this new program, will they be all put into one fund, or will there be 2 separate funds at TCF?
That's a great question. So to your first question, you're right. The CDE money is not, county funds. It's a separate entity, and there's a board that manages that, and that money is collected of management fees for new market tax credits, a federal program. There was a need by the board to move incredibly fast because businesses are suffering right now. And so the numbers that I gave earlier were for that program, which the commission did not vote on. As to your second question, the original funds, the $3 million that the county put up and the $3 million that TCF put up, that will still continue to be used only in low-income areas. Okay. These funds, which will be, we've got Tom Schaefer, I believe, on the phone here from TCF, which, I just want to take a second and thank TCF for agreeing to expand the program. I know we're all talking about, the legal gymnastics of this thing and the mechanisms for it. But I think we got to take a moment and recognize that TCF is taking $2 million of their own dollars and saying, they'll continue to invest in our communities. But those money will be for countywide, in the low-income areas and the non-low income areas. Tom, are you on the phone?
Khalil, yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Okay, am I still on then?
Yes, Tom, Commissioner.
Okay, well, okay, thank you. So today, if we approve the 2 million, then TCF will match the 2 million. So the pot that goes to the entire county will be 4 million. That's and right. The CDE monies that are in control of the CDE and TCF, which is 6 million, will go into the low to medium income areas.
That's right.
So thank you for that clarification, and thank you very much, Tom, for working with us with this, because we all totally appreciate it. This way, all of our districts have a chance to get some money. So I really appreciate it, and I know many of the commissioners do. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Baidoon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I would like to thank Commissioners Varga and Haydus for co-chairing the task force committee and all the commissioners on this task force. And thank you to the administration and specifically Khalil Rahal and Tom from TCF Bank. I have posted about this program in 2 different languages on social media. During these challenging times, we must act to provide assistance to the struggling businesses in Wayne County. And I believe this step will help a lot of businesses to stay open, and this is going to benefit the Wayne County on the long run in terms of property taxes, businesses being able to stay operating during these difficult times. So thank you again for everyone who put their efforts together, and I think this is a good move, and thank you again, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Dobb.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question is regarding the audit. Does the county have the ability to audit the program?
So through the chair, this is Felicia. As indicated before, staff has been working extremely hard on this along with the administration. We actually met this morning and made revisions. So yes, there is an audit provision in the agreement. There's also an ethics provision in the agreement. That change was made right before this meeting.
Okay, thank you. And then I just have another comment. So I just received this agreement during our full board meeting, as everyone else did. So are we going to be voting to approve this today? I personally, I mean, you know, I want this to happen, but I haven't had a chance to read this. I don't feel comfortable voting on something that I haven't read. And I don't know if any of the other commissioners would like to either pass this or table this and then vote on it. Maybe, I don't know if we could have a special committee meeting tomorrow or on Monday. I don't want to delay it too much, but I also don't want to haven't even read.
Thank you, Commissioner. That's a motion you can make, but I think the reason why it's on today and while we were up to midnight going through this and up again at 6 o'clock going through this is to make sure that we have something to present today so that we can start as soon as possible, because our small businesses are hurting every day and we want to make sure we roll out something as quickly as possible.
Madam Chair, to that point, can I interject for a second?
Yes, Commissioner Badum, to that point.
To that point, our attorney Felicia, would you advise for us to vote on this today? That's why we're discussing this, and I do believe we need to act on it today. What's your thoughts, Felicia?
Felicia?
Through the chair, I don't have any thoughts with regards to whether or not this body should vote today. You should have our analysis in front of you. Again, staff was up very late last night and early this morning, along with the administration, trying to work out something that we thought could be best defended, if necessary, based on the legal concerns that are out there. So it has been vetted by my office. You have my comments on the analysis, and I don't have any other comments beyond that.
Thank you, Felicia. Commissioner Dobbs?
Could I ask, is there any huge differences between this and the previous, the CDE, the original CDE program that we looked at last week's meeting?
I think Commissioner Dobbs, you're bringing up a very good point in that we did have one meeting on this last week just to inform everybody about the program. And then we've had two committee meetings early this week, one Monday, one Wednesday. All three of those meetings have been public meetings. And obviously, I've had individual conversations with many commissioners and a lot of talk with a lot of staff very intensely. There is no major changes between what we presented to you last week versus this week. I will say if there are changes that were made, it was at your request, particularly the auditing, the ethics, and those, and there may be some grammatical changes. But other than that, I just can't thank Tom enough for agreeing to make the changes that you all requested.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
If I may add to that, so while there were no significant changes to the loan arrangement with TCF, there was a change in the sense that the county's now going through the CDE. So you have that agreement with the CDE before you, which is something you didn't have before.
Yes. Thank you for that. Commissioner Scott.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, I was on that committee, but I was not notified on the first one. So I was not there fully on all of this. Now, I'm probably one with the lowest community, the lowest income. And I am concerned that we are, before we can get this low income done, now we are pulling on another one. And I know all small business needs some help, but low income communities are the last ones to be able to get loans in that. So I want to make sure that this first one that we voted on, that all the low income communities are able to get theirs first, because other communities are able to get loans at any time. So I was excited about it because it was for low income people, businesses. And some of us are just getting some businesses started now. and they haven't even been in for a year. So they won't be able to even apply for this. So if there's anything, we need to help those who are starting up. And so I do want some more help here. Now, I did ask who these people were, that I was told that there was 2. Today I heard there is 3 that's already been approved. And I want to know where these businesses are. And I understand there was 40 loans, might be more than 40 as of today. But I want some more information on this, and I want some help for our low-income communities.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. And I think that's why we were so happy to get the presentation last week that said there's $10 million allocated to low-income tracts businesses. So that $10 million is going to go a long way for our low-income census tract businesses. And then this money that we're doing today is in addition to that. So I think
I want to make sure that that other low income is for all low incomes.
Absolutely.
That's in the low income communities.
Yes. So Khalil, at your earliest convenience, can you share with Commissioner Scott or for all commissioners for that matter, the loans that have already been approved, maybe by zip code?
Yes,
ma'am.
That's
possible. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
And
I need some help, Khalil.
I got you.
All right, now I'm in this because of my communities. All right.
Yes, ma'am. You know, the good news is the original $6 million will still only be towards low-income communities.
Okay, I want you to prove that to me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Baker McCormick.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too believe that the intent of the program is good, and we do need to help or try to help small businesses throughout the county. The only thing that I'm looking at right now is the uncertainty of the legal issues we may run into. And I do think we need more information. In addition, there are state and federal loans and grants that are offered to all communities.
Yes.
Throughout the state of Michigan.
Yes.
And in addition, the general fund dollars, I think we need to be careful in this time of uncertainty how we spend our county dollars. Our credit rating is increasing and we want it to continue to increase, but we're not really sure what the future will bring. And so with that and with the uncertainty of the program, I'm going to abstain from this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Marecki and then Commissioner Ware. Commissioner Marecki? Commissioner Marecki, you are on,
She's on mute.
She's on mute. Unmute yourself, Commissioner Marecki.
Okay, I thought I just did that, but okay, thank you. Through the chair to Khalil again, I just want to reiterate what Commissioner Daw brought up about the audit clause. So the commission has no control over the CDE monies. And that first pot, we're probably really not going to be able to look at. But if our monies, our general fund monies are going to be going through the CDE, and we really don't have control over CDE, you're assuring us we will be able to still look at the funds that we're giving through the general fund through the CDE. Is that correct?
I'm going to let Felicia answer.
Felicia?
Through the chair, so the county's agreement with the CDE does contain an audit provision. Now, the county is not a party to the agreement with TCF. We had some discussions about adding the county as far as an audit provision, and I'm trying to check to see if that was accomplished.
Okay. And I would just be referring to the 2 million that we're putting in from the general fund, I would think.
Right.
Yes, that's what we're referring to.
Okay. So you're still looking into that?
I am looking to see, because again, we're not a party to the agreement with TCF, and I don't see the change. So no, we cannot. So it doesn't appear that we can audit the agreement with TCF, but we can't audit the agreement with the CDE, which is the agreement we are party to.
Okay, so we can't, that's in for the CDE then.
Right, and the CDE can't audit the TCF agreement.
Okay.
And program.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Commissioner Ware?
Thank you. I would like to know the 3 businesses, companies that were approved.
Thank you.
I think to receive the answer now while we're having our meeting, it's a public meeting. If you ask for the companies by zip code, they should be able, he should be able to provide it since it's only 3.
Khalil or Tom, do you have that information?
So I do not have I can tell you the first pass for the original monies to qualify was the census tract. So we're very focused and we're very skilled at identifying census tracts to make sure that we're following the prescribed methodology of the CDE. I don't have the names of those, but I'm certain that we have followed that as we've agreed to.
So that is something that we can get in the relatively short period of time.
So, let me ask we have access. We know exactly who we funded. We know who's in the pipeline, so we can get that information. We get whatever information that I can to Khalil and the commission.
Okay, so we look forward to getting that information. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
So I don't remember last week, did we have a reporting system set up for the monies that from the bank, what is it, TCF Bank? Because if there's been 3 companies already approved, and it seemed like that we should have received that information as they approve the company or a monthly report that included.
We can certainly request that.
We had a monthly reporting cycle.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the gentleman.
Yeah, Khalil, I thought we have a monthly reporting cycle.
Yeah, it's a monthly reporting cycle. The program's been going for 1 week. You know, yes, we have 3 right now that have been fully funded. We believe that there will be more, but you know, we're really trying to do this the best that we can. So just give us a little time, and the moment we have something, you will have it.
I just want to know who they are.
Yes, ma'am.
I agree. I'm excited about the program. Our small businesses are hurting, but on the other hand, I would like to know who we are approving, who's receiving approval from the bank. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, to that point.
To that point, Commissioner Dodd.
So the monthly reports, who will be monitoring those? Which committee will be looking at those?
That will go to government ops.
Okay, thank you.
Hello?
This is Felicia through the chair.
Yes.
So the monthly reports from TCF do not come directly to the county. They go directly to the CDE. So when the commissioners were talking about the first pot of money in the low income track, those reports go directly to the CDE. So we need to make a request of the administration to have them submit reports to the commission, because there's no mechanism for them to come to the commission at this point.
I am absolutely sure that the administration will come to the commission with those reports. But we'll just make a point that Khalil will request them, but you know that when you receive those reports from the CDE, to forward a copy to us.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I just, as a piece of background information, folks know that, banks, especially TCF Bank, which is in the top 1% of SBA lenders in the country, are subject to all kinds of federal auditing. And so, the moment we will get a monthly report from TCF Bank, we don't plan on doing anything more than forwarding it on to the commission. We are not picking and choosing any business to get this loan. The businesses themselves have to reach out, and they have to qualify based on the eligible circumstances written in our agreement. So there isn't anything that we're trying to do here other than just wait to collect information, and the moment we get it, we will make sure to get it to you.
Thank you. Okay, well, I've exhausted my list for commissioners to speak. Is there any other further discussion on this item? And you can see on your screen that the addenda has been updated and corrected.
Madam Chair.
Colleen, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Colleen?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm following up on several commissioners' questions here regarding the reporting. I think it's very important because we have two pots of money here. And I think it's very important that the commission does get a report. And I think it should be pretty comprehensive. What are the criteria that are established that people have to meet? I'd like to see a breakdown between the money that the county's putting in and the separate money from the CDE, the reporting for each one of those pots of money. I think we should also be concerned about getting reports about recouping the $2 million as people pay off their loans. Also being notified of who, what people do not meet the requirements of the loan as far as the payback goes. So I would like to see this all open in reporting to the commission so that we can all speak with authority about what's going on. So I think I don't think anything has been mandated as far as reporting to the commission, but I think we do need to see what both pots of funds are, the requirements are, the businesses need to meet. Does anybody not make their payments back on the loans when it comes to the general fund money that the county's putting in, and also to see how we do in terms of recouping that $2 million as people pay the loans off. So I'd like to see something on that, how we have transparent reporting for both of these programs.
Agreed. We will have that that information, Commissioner. I think everyone wants to be as transparent as possible to make sure we see all of the data as it pertains to this. So thank you for that. We all agree. Additional questions?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Baidoon?
Yes, just a last comment, and I want to put my real estate hat on here. I have dealt with commercial lenders for over 3 decades, and I understand the concerns of the commissioners about the process and the requirements to qualify for these loans. I have to trust that TCF Bank has guidelines, and they will do their due diligence, and they will do whatever they have to do in order to make sure that these candidates or the business owners qualify and they have a true hardship in order for them to obtain these loans. So I have the utmost respect in the TCF Bank process, and I will say this: I believe at the end this will work out, and it's probably not going to be 100% a perfect system, but overall, many businesses will benefit from this, and it will help them to stay in business. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
To that point, Madam Chair.
To that point, Commissioner Colleen.
Yeah, and I'm just, thank you, Commissioner Baidoon, for that, but this is the trust but verify thing. That's why I think we need to see the reporting, and everybody needs to be comfortable with what the requirements are and how those requirements were fulfilled for TCF Bank plus keeping track of our own 2 million. Thank you,
No.
Madam Chair.
No doubt.
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Marecki.
Thank you. If this is approved today, I'm asking, I'm sure some of the commissioners feel the same way. I'd love to have a press release on this so that we can send it out to all our communities. I think that'd be very helpful in this time of need, and that would give us more of a way to promote this program. Thank you.
Well, if we're going to have a press release on that one, let's have a press release on the first one.
Well, we did. They had a big press release on the first program.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
About 4 days ago. I've seen it all over the place. So this second program's coming out, and that'll be helpful for some of the communities that don't qualify for the first program. Thank you.
And
Thank
I will volunteer to translate these 2 programs again.
Thank you, and you will have a press release within the hour.
Oh, thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Instant. Bye. Thanks.
We were proactive. Okay.
Well, I'd like to see the one on the first one I didn't receive.
Okay. We'll make sure we get that to you as soon as possible. Okay. Any additional questions, comments, concerns? Okay. Before, I think we did have a motion, correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, you have a motion by
and a support.
Yes, motion by Commissioner Haddis, supported by Commissioner Varga.
Okay, very good. Let me just say this before I take the roll call vote. This, again, I want to thank Commissioner Haddis and Commissioner Anderson for bringing this to our attention. I think this is a wonderful initiative that the Commission can take credit for and be glad that we are being proactive, making sure that we're having a program that is for the entire County of Wayne. So I want to thank the hard work of Felicia, Khalil, Mark Abbo, all of the administration staff, all of our commission staff who really turned this around in 4 days' time. They worked, like I said, up until midnight last night and early this morning trying to get something to the commission. And again, this is something that will benefit the entire businesses in Wayne County. We want to thank TCF Bank because they didn't have to do this without their support and their agreeing to administer this. We couldn't do it, so we are thankful that they agreed to do this for the businesses in Wayne County. Again, they're hurting, and we want to do all that we can do to provide as much relief as possible, as quickly as possible. And I think this is just an additional mechanism to do that. So thank you to everyone who put in extra hours to make this happen. Pam, Lane, and your team as well. So with that, I'll take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Basham?
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Coleman?
Yes.
Commissioner Daub?
During discussion, I was able to read the agreement, so I would like to vote yes.
Commissioner Haddis?
Yes.
Commissioner Killeen?
Yes.
Commissioner Knizik?
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki?
Yes.
Commissioner Baker McCormick?
Abstain.
Commissioner Scott?
Abstain.
Commissioner Varga?
Yes.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware?
Yes.
Vice Chair Palomera?
Yes.
Chair Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And again, commissioners, please go to your communities and make them aware of this so that we can have as much participation as possible. Next item.
Francesca, can you change the screen, please?
Thank you, Khalil. Thank you, Tom, again. We appreciate you.
We are on testimonial resolutions and certificates of appreciation.
Their motion.
Move approval.
Support.
Been moved and supported. For this, I'll take a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Thank you. Next item.
We are on memoriams There
Thank
should
you.
be 3 names listed.
Could you read off the names, please?
By Commissioner Ware in memory of the Honorable Isaac Robinson. By all commissioners in memory of Dr. Calvin Trent. By all commissioners.
What? Oh my God.
By all commissioners in memory of O'Neill Swanson.
Question, please.
Madam Chair.
Vice Chair Pro Tem Ware, then Commissioner Clark Coleman.
Okay, I had asked for a correction for the Honorable Isaac Robinson. It should read all commissioners.
Duly noted.
And that was my concern.
And also, I would like to, I know we probably will say something under the Honorable Isaac Robinson, but I would like to add, our Wayne County Clerk brother has passed. The formal our Wayne County Clerk brother has passed.
Right.
Who?
Kathy's brother.
Kathy's brother has passed. Elmer Garrett, which is L. Garrett's twin.
Yeah.
And I'll submit the information. And one of my close dear friends that's always with us in spirit, her father passed at the age of 90. Brenda Scott's dad, Rudy Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner, if you could email those names to the clerk.
We will. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Martha Scott.
Commissioner Scott.
Thank you. Dr. Calvin Trent, did you say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
What you call his father? What's
Kim Trent's father.
Kim Trent's father?
Yes.
Oh my God. Yep. I want to be added to that one. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I think we're all,
Jesus.
are we all on all of those?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh
yes.
My God. Oh.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Anderson.
We need to include Commissioner Knezik's
grandfather.
Commissioner Knezik's grandfather. Yes. Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. Yes. Any additional names? Commissioner Baidoon?
Madam Chair, I would highly recommend and suggest that all the commissioners be included on the resolutions of memoriam for all the victims, the people who have died as a result of COVID-19.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. This has been a very, very trying 7 to 10 days. I have noticed this morning that a very dear friend of mine passed away from high school. So this has been very, very trying, and we just need to pray for peace and comfort to the families, and peace and comfort for all of us during these trying times and the loss of so many giants in our community. Thank you. At this time, let's take a moment of silence.
Oh, Father. Oh, help us, Lord, help us.
Thank you very much. Okay, next item, please.
Reconsiderations.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Anderson.
We had just a follow-up. Tony Guerrera has indicated he has an answer to, I believe it was item 15, with the road patrol dollars. He's still there.
Tony, are you still there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, please.
I was contacted during the meeting by Sumaya Harb. She had tried to log in but was not able to do so. And in response to Commissioner Anderson's question on item number 15, the $288,140 for the secondary road patrol grant, that is additional new money for this year's period. I'm advised by Ms. Harb that the grant is a recurring grant each year. But this $288,140 is essentially new money that would run on the grant until September 30th of this year.
If I could,
Commissioner Anderson?
Yes, through the chair. Tony, I was inquiring about the item above that. I thought that was 15 that I was asking the question about, but it was it appeared as though there were two items. One was a new grant and the other appeared to be another installment for the total road patrol grant that comes from the state. I'm just trying to confirm if we had all of the dollars that we had counted on for the road patrol.
I have asked Ms. Harb to contact you directly to make certain that she answers all your questions. However, my understanding is this $288,140 would be in addition, and it would round out our allotment for the year.
Okay.
But right. Samaya will be able to answer in greater detail. I'm sorry to have interrupted the meeting, but I thought you wanted an answer to that as much as I could get.
Thank you for providing it. Thank you.
Thank you. We are under reconsiderations. Is Khalil still on the phone? Khalil, are you still here?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. I'm sorry. This is Khalil has some information that he wanted to make all the commissioners aware of. Khalil, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. As many of you remember, last year or so, we had been working on our mill run project in the mills. Roughly about 30 days ago was the closing for Wilcox Mill. And the developers at that time had asked for an extension to close on that deal for 30 days. And we had granted that extension, which is allowable under the contract, which was, you know, a sign of hope. You know, they were asking for an extension of the closing, showing their intention that they wanted more time to be able to close. And I thought that was a good sign. Obviously, since the executive orders have come into place, construction has halted everywhere in the county, not just on the mills, but on every project that we could think of, Pinnacle, McLeod, and just about every development happening downtown, which is a difficult time. And so because of that, we've been informed by Tony Rocco and his team that they did not want to close on that deal, given the fact that they couldn't begin construction on it. It'd be really hard it's going to be really hard for anybody to get any financing right now, given the fact that they cannot start construction until the executive orders are done. I will say that the executive orders, while they may last until April 13th, the president just extended his social distancing order to April 30th, and by a lot of different accounts, I'm not the expert in this space, so you should rely on Carol Osterberry, but from a development standpoint, a lot of contractors are worried because they think that April 30th deadline is going to extend into May. And so certainly it's really hard to get development projects if you can't begin construction, watch costs go up dramatically, and then anybody to finance those things. So Tony Rocco right now, his art business is, like all small businesses are taking a hit. And so, they wanted to concentrate on their existing small businesses since they can't, achieve financing, complete environmental work, and beginning into the construction. So I just wanted to make everybody aware of that.
Thank you, Khalil. Mm-hmm. And if anyone has any deeper questions, I'll take a couple now. But if anyone go into detail, they can call Khalil offline. If there are any brief questions on his statement.
One other quick note about Newburgh Mill. We are going to be coming back to the commission for an amendment to that contract. There is an issue that we're having with the replacement property. As many of you remember, we have to replace the horse barn. The site that we had chosen to purchase out of the funds of the sale, the owners being very, very difficult. And so what we wanted to do was to provide a backup property for the replacement property. We've already identified a site that the county owns, so that we don't have to, get into a round of negotiations with another property owner. So we will be coming back to you shortly with an amendment to that contract.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
No problem.
To that point, Madam the Chair.
Commissioner Hayes?
Yes, thank you. Khalil, I know we have so many other projects and we have so many department in the county. So we're gonna expect delay in many other issues. We need to address to the citizen of Wayne County is every department in Wayne County running on the minimum because too many people under quarantine in every department. There's some people afraid to come to work, and that affects the service all over Wayne County. And we need to send a message, if it's possible, from the chair of the commission and the CEO to explain that situation to the public, because when people call you about issue they facing, and it's very important to the resident, like flooding, big chuck hole. So we don't have the full forces working, so the response would be affected. And I hope we're gonna address that to the citizen of Wayne County. I receive a few important ones in my district, and I know the response it's slow because the lack of the crew number on the road. So it is very important for the people to know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Khalil. Thank you, Commissioner. We'll look forward to more information on the changes with all the developments that were scheduled to get started this quarter in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we'll just look forward to your further conversation, discussion on that.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, next item.
Remarks by members.
Any remarks by members?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that along the same lines of what Khalil just brought up, our Corp Counsel contacted me yesterday and informed me that the jail project, the Criminal Justice Center, is at a standstill right now. It's been determined not to be an essential construction project and under the governor's guidelines, and they've been in contact with the governor's office, and that determination's been made, so it's basically on hold right now. Just wanted everybody to be aware of that.
Thank you, Glenn.
Alicia?
Yes, Commissioner Clark Coleman.
I just would like to once again remind everyone to stay at home. Stay in it because as long as we keep going out there, we are once again opening ourselves up to isolate ourselves for even a longer period of time. And I'm sure that you're having the same problems within your own families and a church and friends. People are going into the hospital at an alarming rate. And it's not just one person from the family. I've got 2 instances in which the husband and the wife both are in the hospital because they have been tested positive. So we need to stay home. There is nothing out there that we have to do that can't be done at another time. So I'm just praying and asking us to take it upon ourselves, to isolate ourselves so that this horrible disease can move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. That's very well stated. Stay home, stay safe.
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoum, I see your hand.
Yes, Madam Chair. As all of you know, that the number of cases in the state of Michigan keep going up and at an alarming rate. And I'm very concerned about the numbers in Wayne County and specifically in the city of Detroit. We have, the last time I looked, I think it was over 21 or 2,200 cases, and correct me if I'm wrong. So my message to all of my colleagues, my commission on the commission from the city of Detroit, if you need to put a message out to your constituents in Arabic or in Spanish, please reach out to me and I will provide you with the translation. Public awareness is the key to defeating this coronavirus. We need to stress, and I have done several videos in Arabic and English in my district, and I extend my services to you, my fellow commissioners. If you need my assistance in getting the word out in Arabic and Spanish, I'm available. Reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, for that. We appreciate you lending your hand and helping us with that messaging. Thank you. Commissioner, did I see a hand? I thought I saw a hand. Vargo, did I see your hand? Okay. No? Okay.
I just want to bring, thank you. I just want to bring your attention to something that I really didn't think very much of. All of us posting on Facebook and letting people know where to get food and doing all of our outreach that we can. I saw a post yesterday that was heartbreaking of a person who had been tested and is at home with her son, who was 14, posted, "What about us?" And she did a video, and she said it was hard enough for her just to take a shower a day, let alone get food. And she was wondering where is there were who know that they're out there, and I don't think she realizes that we don't get the information of who those particular people are who have the virus. And I was wondering if I'm going to reach out to our health department and see if maybe there might be something that we might be able to do. Some of them who are very ill in hospitals don't really have the energy to cook. So in this case, the community got together and she's taken care of. But now I'm wondering, what about the rest of them? I'm not sure. The only thought I had in my mind right now is if possibly would expand on the Wheels on Meals, how we will do that to provide it to the people who are shut in with the virus. But I will be asking the health department to look into for. Just wanted to make you aware.
Thank you. You were breaking up a little bit, Commissioner, but I did hear you say you were going to contact the health department. So thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you. Any other remarks by members? Any other remarks by members? Well, I'll just say that since we are becoming experts with Zoom, it may be a consideration to have committee meetings next week by Zoom. I'll talk to the committee chairs and Pam to see how many items we have that need to go to committee. But if the chairs are comfortable conducting committee meetings via Zoom, then that is something that we'll consider for next week, because our next full board meeting is on Tuesday, April 14th, and that's by charter because that's the equalization meeting. So just know that it's possible that you'll have your committee meetings next week by Zoom after I speak to Pam and the chairs. Commissioner Vice Chair Ware?
No, you used the word expert, so I said just exclude me.
And me.
I am so learning. Thank you.
As expert as possible. So I'll
Alicia,
talk to all the chairs. Yes, ma'am.
One last thing, since we've been in our meeting, I just looked at my phone here, and the governor at 10:45 did indicate that schools would be closed for the rest of the
rest of the school year.
School year, yes.
Okay. So okay. Thank you for that.
It's the only news make all the kids happy.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. This will continue to be trying times for some of us then. So, okay. Any other comments by members, remarks by members? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Support.
Thank you all so very much for a great movie. I think we did very well, very well. So thank you all so much, and be safe, stay home, and continue to keep your constituents informed about what's going on out here with this pandemic so that we can get through this as fast as possible. Everyone have a blessed rest of their day. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Madam the Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes.